On this episode of Carnage, we're going to finish upgrading the Trolvo. Well, that's the plan anyway. For those just joining us, this is the Trolvo. It is an early 80s Volvo 240 that we paid about $1,000 for, which was a bit of a bargain when you consider it came with a Toyota 1JZ in it. So non-VVTi, 2.5 litre, straight six. Now the turbos were stuffed, so we had to convert it to a single turbo. We put injectors in it, converted it to E85 with a bunch of Raceworks gear. The transmission was stuffed, so we put a Transbrake Turbo 400 in it. And obviously we're running the whole thing with a Haltech Elite 2000 ECU. So it goes pretty well. It makes about 460 horsepower at the tyres. It runs 1095 down the drag strip at 125 mile an hour. And it is pretty terrifying when it does it because all the bushes were flogged out. It was a bit wiggly in the top end. And it also started to break axles because we were throwing a bit of power at this thing and the axles kept snapping. So we've spent a bit of money on a diff upgrade on it. So we're going to throw the diff in there now. All right, so diff's ready to go. It's got 3, 4, 5 gears in it rather than the 3, 7, 3s it had before. So should help us a bit in the top end. And yeah, we're going to also put some camshafts in this thing, up the power, make this thing maybe run 9s, maybe even throw some suspension bits at it as well. So come and join us while we finish upgrading the Trolvo and hopefully run 9s in about 5 weeks at the Haltech Big Bash, the birthday bash. 35 years of Haltech. We're going to take this thing up there, run it at the drag strip and maybe go 9s and probably get kicked out. Anyway, it'll all be fun, I'm sure. Last time on the Trolvo, you saw us remove this diff from the car and it was pretty filthy. It had 373 gears in it, had an Aussie locker in there, which was a bit clunky. And it also had 27 spline axles in it, which had a habit of snapping when you started to put some power into the launch. So we removed the diff, sent it to the guys at Mobile Diff Repairs, well, they came and picked it up, and they've put 3, 4, 5 gears in it and a Torsen limited slip. And now it's going to have 30 spline axles as well, so a lot stronger. They reckon this diff should be good for about 800 rear wheel horsepower, which that's plenty. I think that'll be plenty for us. We're also replacing all the bushes because she was a bit loosey-goosey in the top end. I'll say doing 125 mile an hour through the traps with this thing slopping around, yeah, it was not a pleasant experience, I've got to say. So new bushes throughout. It's going to be pretty cool, and hopefully with a lot more power she should be a fair bit quicker. So I've got our new bushes in the housing here. They were a lot of fun to fit, I've got to say, and we're going to get this thing up there. We've also got to do some mods to our lower trailing arms as well. So let's go have a look at that. It is a bucketing rain outside, so you're going to be hearing a lot of that in the background. Do apologise, but not much you can do about it. Anyway, let's go and have a look at these trailing arms. Right, well, these are our factory trailing arms, the lowers. Now, they're quite open here in the bottom end, and I'm a bit worried about that. They do sell strengthening kits for these, but they're all from overseas, so it's going to take a while for them to get here. So I've cut out some pieces, and I'm going to weld them kind of there and there. I'll leave a gap here at the center so dirt and stuff can fall out. But yeah, we'll try welding them in, see how it looks, and then we'll paint them up, get them in the car. So let's trim that one a little bit, just through there. Grinding time. It's all right. So that adds a bit of weight to the old unit. I reckon that'll be a fair bit stronger. I'm just looking at the inside, seeing if we need to put any tacks on the inside. Oh no. I guess now's the time to do it if I'm going to do it. Might just run a couple short stitches in there. That'll be the go. Okay, so I had a couple little blowouts there because this material's thinner than the main material, which kind of sucks. But anyway, this one's done now. We'll move on to the next one. We'll let this one cool down and we'll clean it up and paint it and whack some bushes in the front. So as usual, I only get my eye in towards the end of the job, but yeah, that one's come out pretty good. So I'll give it a bit of a clean up and we'll get some paint on it. All right, bit of wax and grease remover. Give them a bit of a hose down. Because we're going over bare metal, we're just going to go with the etch primer. It's always the best way. So I haven't used this stuff before, but we'll see how it goes. It's just a bit cold in the workshop today, so using the Ryobi heat gun to, you know, just cook the paint off a bit. So just going to use some heavy duty wheel paint. Obviously these things are going to see plenty of rocks and temperature and stuff being under the car. So yeah, we'll just hit it with some high temperature black paint. Should be good. Right, now that I'm feeling all lightheaded and woozy, we'll let that paint cook off over the weekend. It is Friday afternoon, so we'll let that dry off over the weekend. It's going to be cold and miserable all weekend, so it's going to take ages for that paint to dry. So it'll dry, but by the time that's dry, we should have our head back. So we'll be able to put the diff in, put the head on. We'll have this thing running, hopefully, this time next week. Brave prediction, but hey, that would be cool. That'd be very cool. Anyway, I definitely want to get it running way before time so we can put it on the dyno and maybe even do some testing before we go to Sydney. So that would be cool. Anyway, I'm going to go home, have a beer, play some PlayStation. See you Monday. Right, well, the weekend's over, so now it is time to get these in the car so we can bolt this diff in. We're going to keep our front bushes as they are. They're rubber, but they are in pretty good condition, so I'm going to leave them in place. We can always replace them later, but I think at the moment, not necessary. So, let's get these bad boys in the car. So as I mentioned last time on the Trolvo, the guys from Australian Automotive Parts have sent us some shocks. Front and rear, well these are the rears. We'll get these in now. We'll do the fronts later, but it's all going together pretty well. Custom. Looking good. Beefy. Bugger. So what's happening there is the back of the wheel studs, because they're screw-in studs, the back of the wheel studs are interfering with the factory handbrake. And because this isn't really a street car, I figure we just delete the handbrake. We don't need it anyway. So that is what we're going to do. It's got a park brake, you know, with the trans. Yeah, we'll just delete the handbrake stuff. Maybe we'll do a hydro handbrake down the track, but for the moment, just to get this happening, yeah, handbrake is getting cut. Well, this job got a lot less complicated. No handbrake hardware. You. Out you come. So it should probably be said that this isn't a problem. This isn't GZ Racing's problem. This is our problem because we've used screw-in studs. Yeah, I'm sure they have a way of doing it when they do it in Sweden with whatever studs they use over there, but because we've used screw-in studs, it's actually a problem for us. So anyway, no need for that. We'll just pull that back through, get our axle back in there. Okay, so we're going to do a little test fit, make sure it fits all right. And, oh, it don't fit. Oops. Oh, that's right. They did tell me. We changed our stud pattern. So we've gone from Volvo stud pattern to Ford stud pattern. That's right. Oh, crap. All right, that means we're going to get new wheels. So we've got a new set of steelies. You know what? I might get a new set of steelies for the front as well. Get some skinnies on the front. So yeah, new set of wheels. Bit of less rolling resistance on the front with some skinnies as well. So yeah, that'll be the way to go, but shit, bummer. Oh well. And it's probably a good opportunity to get ourselves some, we've got a new set of drag radials out the back as well. As you can see, these ones have copped a bit of a pounding. Funny story. Gather round, kiddies, while Uncle Scotty tells you a story. When we took this thing to Portland and we backed it off the trailer, we had all the goods loaded in the boot, like tables and tools and stuff like that. Backed it out of the trailer, hadn't even made a pass on the car, and the rear guard, because of the extra weight, dug straight into the tyre and chewed up the sidewall. Yeah, that was not a fun experience. It was kind of expensive, because we're like, this tyre's ruined already. Well, we went, screw it, let's make some passes anyway. So we did 8 passes on those tyres at Portland that weekend, and then I think what we do at Heathcote, we probably did another 8 passes at Heathcote, just to make sure we got some use out of these tyres, because they're kind of expensive. But anyway, before we take them to Sydney, we've got a new set out the back there. New tyres will go on. We won't reuse these ones because, yeah, this thing's kind of fast now, and that's going to be pretty dangerous. Anyway, got to find new wheels. Bugger. So we have our new diff, new suspension, new bushes, all that. It's all pretty good. So once we get some wheels on this thing, we'll be able to lower it onto the ground proper and then tighten up all those bolts, because yeah, it's best to do it tightening everything up with the car's weight on it and all the bushes in their correct orientations and positions. But up front here, we need to go get our cylinder head. So the good news is that will be ready tomorrow. So we'll go pick that up tomorrow, get this on the car, get our turbo and all our gear back on here, crank her up on the dyno, see what power it makes with these new cams. It should be really interesting. But you're going to see all that on a future episode of Carnage.